watching this whole season, and I know you covered the Braves a lot. Tell me your top 3 teams in MLB going into the playoffs.
Going into the playoffs, Jansen, I really, really think the top team, Houston Astros. Great pitching
Wow.
staff. Great lineup. The thing is, their lineup has been fantastic, and Carlos Correa really has been out 2/3 of the year this year. Like I said, a fantastic pitching staff. So they're my number 1. Number 2, I do kind of like the Atlanta Braves in the number 2 spot.
Wow.
I think, it's all going to come out to the pitching. Starting pitching, it'll be interesting to see who they bring into into the rotation. There's a lot, Soroka, Max Fried, Julio. He's had a great year. Very, very undervalued this year.
I thought this was his better year. I know in the past people got on Julio, missed the up and down, but yeah, I like your point on that. Julio did have a productive year.
Yeah, and then Dallas Keuchel, who's got that playoff experience with the Houston Astros. And so he's a guy that you could give to like a game 1 ball to. He hasn't had the greatest of years for the Braves, but again, playoff experience is different from regular season experience. The nerves. Mike Soroka, never been to the playoffs. Max Fried, never been to the playoffs. So, that to me makes a big deal, But, and then number 3, you gotta always put the Yankees in there.
I was waiting on. Hold on one second.
Yeah,
Is there supposed to be a list with no Yankees?
No, the Yankees gotta be there. They've had a fantastic season, and again, they've had the season having injuries, but guys have really stepped up. Giancarlo Stanton hasn't played the majority of the year. So he'll be back healthy for this, and so I really like those 3. But I think the Braves are very undervalued, but the injuries kind of concern me near the end of the year. But it looks like Freddie Freeman came back yesterday.
Yeah.
Ronald Acuna, he said he could play if he had to. So he's dealing with a little hip tightness and some groin tightness as well. Those are probably intertwined together. And then Billy Hamilton, he jammed his fingers yesterday in the game. He can be a big part of this postseason as a pinch runner, and then because Ender Inciarte is not going to play in the NLDS due to injury with that hamstring, it did not come around in time for him to make the NLDS roster.
Now let me ask you this: you just gave me your top 3 teams. Obviously, you got the Braves at number 2. I don't see the Dodgers on this top 3 teams, which a lot of people have the Dodgers up there. Can you tell me why? I know you brought up some of the Braves' injuries and maybe a couple question marks at the pitching position, but obviously. You don't think it's going to be a huge problem having the Braves at number 2, but why are the Dodgers not in your top 3?
Because I think the Dodgers have the harder end playing against a wild card team this year. You are looking at a potential Milwaukee Brewers as a wild card and as the Washington Nationals. Washington Nationals scare me. Same thing. You've got a top 3 pitching staff. And so that worries me. When you have a top 3 like that's made for a postseason roster, do you want to face a Max Scherzer in the playoffs?
No.
Do you want to face a Steven Strasburg in the playoffs? I certainly don't. So, I worry with the Dodgers and them,
They're such a deep team.
Yeah, they're deep offensively, but Clayton Kershaw, not exactly the best postseason numbers. And then and they're young as well as pitching Hyun-Jin Ryu. He's had injury concerns, so you never, really sure about him. But yeah, they.
He did get 8 up last time he played the Braves, I believe.
And then they have the guy that pitched last year. They gave up the grand slam to Acuna. The name escaping me, but yeah, he's going to be in the postseason roster too. And you saw him fold when it came to the crowd being on him. Really, you could only pitch him at home. So. That's why I wouldn't put them on the list, because I think they have a harder challenge. I'm sure that they would have rather have faced the Braves in the playoffs.
Now let me continue on the Dodgers, and a lot of this I feel the Dodger hype, because we are here in the Atlanta market. Is it just a national thing? I feel like just to compare it to sports a little bit, it's like Matt Ryan. It's kind of like, okay, some people value him here, but he's known as a better quarterback here. Then once it hits national, it's just like, Matt Ryan. It's kind of like an afterthought. Do you feel like that's the same situation with maybe the Dodgers and even, of course, the Yankees, who are very comparable to the Dallas Cowboys when it comes to popularity, that they just get the check-in, especially the Dodgers, knowing that they've been to the big game so many times, and as young as the Braves are, and the Braves peaking a year before they actually should have.
Exactly. Who do you think you're seeing in the national games on TV, on ESPN every Sunday?
Exactly.
The Yankees, the Dodgers. That's why people are more familiar with them, and that's why they're going to pick them as their favorites going in. You aren't seeing the Braves on national TV, so the local market, we realize how good they are. We know how good they are. To me, they are, last year stepped a year above schedule for where I thought they would be. And so I do feel that they are ready to take that next step. But that's why you have the national media and, national people talking about the Yankees and the Dodgers being good because that's who they see. I just honestly think that the Astros are very, very underrated.
That's another question, too. The Astros at number one, what primarily was your thought process to put them as a number one team? Because to be honest with me, I don't have the Astros that high up on my list. I know many others don't. But Bob, and again, I respect your baseball opinion. Tell us why you would have the Astros at number one right now.
Justin Verlander. That's be my number one reason. I mean, again, you're able to start him games 1 and 4. He'll come off on early rest. I put that as 2 wins in a series. Especially in a 5-game divisional series. So he's number one for me. Again, they have a really, really good offense. Alex Bregman at third at 42 home runs is what he's at. And again, they've done all this without Carlos Correa. If Carlos Correa can be healthy coming to the playoffs, he has a back injury that's been bothering him all year. But if he can come back for the playoffs, that team will go as far as anybody after Justin Verlander will take them. So, but I mean, it's hard to gauge them because they played in the AL West, which isn't exactly a barn burner of a conference. Of a division. So, but yeah, I've always been impressed with them. And the other thing is they've won it before, so they have the experience of going into the playoffs and winning.
Absolutely, absolutely. Bob Lancaster giving his top 3 MLB teams headed into the postseason. When we come back, we're going to get into the NFL. We're going to talk about Matt Ryan. We're going to break down this Falcons team. We know Bob has a lot to say about them. He's been watching closely all the games. I'm Jansen Harris. This is Bob Lancaster.